We'll now start today's regular press conference by Minister Motegi. There's nothing from me at the outset. I'd like to take your questions. For those of you who wish to ask a question, please raise your hand, step up to the microphone, state your name and affiliation. Please. Sato-san. Sato from Asahi Shimbun. Recently, according to some reports, at the G7 summit meeting in June, there could be a summit meeting between Japan, U.S., ROK leaders. There has been some meetings of dignitaries between Japan, U.S., and ROK. Minister Motegi, yourself, during the Golden Week, you attended for a ministers' meeting between Japan, U.S., and ROK. North Korean review by the U.S. has been completed, so I think there is increasing significance in coordination between Japan, U.S., and ROK. The sharing of roles between the three countries, the significance of coordination between the three countries. Your thoughts, please? I wasn't able to completely understand the gist of your question, including response to North Korea, Japan, U.S., ROK. The three-country coordination is extremely important. In addition, between the three countries, it's not that frequent. For example, on May 5th, Japan, U.S., ROK, three-country foreign ministers meeting was held for the first time in a long time. In any case, in many ways, we want to confirm our coordination and partnership given the regional situation that I consider to be important. Next question, please.
This is Chura from IWJ. From May 21st, there were ARC 21 happened between the three countries, and also UK is sending a carrier strike group with the Queen Elizabeth. And within a year, there will be a port visit, and also there will be an exercise being planned with SDF. In addition to the collaboration with the Quad, European countries are interested in Indo-Pacific. Doesn't that provoke China, and doesn't that lead to the danger for the clash? Do you believe that this leads to the peace and stability of the international society? And any explanation from the government or information sharing from the government is not much, so we would like to see that happening. So first of all, the free and open Indo-Pacific, the concept of which at Article 6, the Japan proposed the concept in 2016. A democracy, respect for the human rights, rule of law. So those fundamental values are to be shared. While doing so, various collaboration are to be done, and with that, peace and stability and prosperity of the region are to be realized. So the collaboration toward that goal is to be done. That's the idea behind the free and open Indo-Pacific. On that, the four countries, Japan, US, Australia, India, are being collaboration in strengthening connectivity or in more related development. They're having collaboration between the vaccine for Asia and the island nations in Pacific. So there have been the wider range of collaboration being done. And at the ASEAN countries, which is in the strategic point in the Indo-Pacific area, their AOIP announced. So the free and open Indo-Pacific and the AOIP, those ideas there are many much of the commonality between those two. And last year, at the summit between Japan and ASEAN, it was confirmed, and the collaboration was determined to be proceeded. And this year, with EU. In January, I attended the council meeting by the foreign ministers, and with regards to the free and open Indo-Pacific, I gave explanation. And from many countries, there was expression for the intention of support. And of course, this is to do with security, but there are many collaboration going on in various areas. And for countries in Europe, like France, Germany, Netherlands, they announced a policy document related to Indo-Pacific, and also UK government announced its policy of a tilting to Indo-Pacific region. And these are the overall policy. And in overall background, there are the dispatching of the carrier strike group, or Germans dispatching of the frigates happening or to happen, or also joint exercise are being done or to be done within this background. And free and open Indo-Pacific is the very inclusive concept, open to all the countries, to countries which share the ideas and stick to the rule. This concept is open. And we have been giving thorough explanation about that. And some people say that I don't know how many explanations I have received, so I'm sure that there have been thorough explanation having been given.
Next question. Yes, Azhari-san.
Abdul Azhari, Panorama News. I would like to ask about the situation in Gaza, which is escalating. The Human Rights Watch issued a report last month. It said that Israel's policy toward the Palestinians meet the definition of apartheid and persecution, and thus considered crimes against humanity. In this regard, what is Japan's position on this situation? Thank you.
This issue must be looked at from both sides. The West Bank, including East Jerusalem, there's clashes and violence, and there are rocket firing from Gaza and attacks by Palestinian armed insurgents, and there is surface attacks by Israeli military and their counterattacks. Because of these activities, the situation in Israel and Palestine are getting worse by the day, and many civilians have become the casualties, which is very regrettable. Japan strongly condemns such acts of violence, and Japan is convinced that the issues between Israel and Palestine cannot be solved through violence. It can only be solved through negotiations between the parties and by the efforts to build mutual trust. And therefore, we call upon both Israel and Palestine to exercise maximum restraint. Right now, the U.S. and Egypt are conducting mediation efforts, and President Biden has spoken to Prime Minister Netanyahu to express his view of supporting ceasefire. There are energetic efforts being made, and Japan supports such efforts. And Japan would like to closely watch these developments, and we would like to work with the international community to try to calm down the situation. We will continue our diplomatic efforts. Any other questions? That concludes today's press conference. Thank you very much.